Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being here with Sheila Robinson Kiss. Your Auntie Sheila is in the house. And as always, I have got your back. This video message today, I believe in my heart that so many of you listening, you're going to deeply resonate with this message. I want to share three things. No, back up. Back up. I'm gonna give you a bonus. Matter of fact, I want to share four things with you that you need to know about miserable people so you will not get yourself in that squirrel. Listen, if you end up loving the video, loving the message, do not forget to hit, like, subscribe, drop me a comment, and let me know about your experience dealing with miserable people. Now, what sparked my message today, I got an email from Jordan. I did respond personally, but I wanted to share a little bit about my commentary to Jordan. Jordan is dealing with a couple different miserable people in his life, spinning his wheels. I can't, there's not enough I can do. Whatever I do, it seems it makes the misery more intense. Sheila, I'm tired. All right, gonna recap what I shared with Jordan. This is truly, I've made two other videos in the last 13 years or so about miserable people, but I'm gonna take it up a notch. I'm gonna take it up a notch because I just feel like there's some things that everybody needs to hear, embrace, and absorb. Number one, miserable people, they are here to stay. They are not going anywhere. I have a few miserable folks in my family. I know a few of them personally, up close and personal. And what I want you to keep in mind is this. Number one, please keep this in mind. Misery is a choice and it goes hand in hand with laziness. Well, Sheila, tell me a little bit more about that. You're making that correlation here. This is what I mean by that. And again, almost 30 years for me as a therapist and just, a woman living life even longer than that. Miserable people, 9 times out of 10, they will need to do work to pull themselves out of that miserable, wretched state that they are in. I'll give you a case in point. I worked with a gentleman, highly successful in his career, failed relationship after failed relationship after failed relationship. Kids were on edge dealing with him. Just a lot of internal angst. Where did that come from? A lot of that came from past traumas and the inability to regulate his mood, emotions, what was coming out of his mouth. Hair trigger temper, very erratic thinking. And you know what? It's easy enough because someone threatens you, you get therapy or this relationship is over. That's one thing to come in the door. It's another thing to roll up your sleeves and be willing to look at yourself deeply. Guess what? He wasn't willing to do that. So therapy, essentially lasted a very short period of time. A miserable soul, making his family miserable, making people that he works with miserable. Why? Because of a choice. I don't want to roll my sleeves up and be accountable. You gotta know that. You gotta know that. Show me a miserable person and I'll show you a lazy person who's not willing to examine themselves. Number two, their negativity is about them. It is not about you. It was never about you. And what happens so much, you get these people who will join for a variety of different reasons. Again, sometimes they're in your family. Sometimes you start a relationship with one and you don't know the depth of the misery. And you will begin to internalize it. Well, maybe if I change this, maybe if I shift this, say it this way, say it a different way, show up in this way, it'll make it better. And the reason why it never does is because misery is a deeply embedded state. And I will reference a video I've done. I'm a big fan of Emmanuel Swedenborg. I have a video on the channel that's specifically dealing with different states, states of being that a person can be in. Just like you can live in California or Utah, people also live in vibrational states. And a state of misery is seeing the cup as half full, finding fault and criticism with people, not being able to accept compliments, not being able to give other people compliments, not being able to roll up the sleeves, do the work to lift themselves out of the state. So very happy to pull other people into that misery when and where possible. And you have to agree to that. I will, full transparency. Again, I've dealt with very miserable people on a personal level. I got caught up in that too. And I'm telling you, when I was caught up in it, there was the darkest cloud over my life. And that's how with Sheila, how do I know if I'm dealing with a miserable person? There's a darkness that moves in to your life. It's like a cloud that descends over everything, how you think, how you feel. Because that is what it looks and feels like to start to internalize this stuff. And you start to doubt yourself. You start to feel that energetic drain, which I will talk about in just a moment. So I want, Jordan and everyone else, please hear me and hear me well. That misery is not about you. And if you choose to, for whatever reason, my core advice is to keep a healthy distance from these individuals, especially until you've created that mental boundary. And if that energy has penetrated your boundary, it can take a while. I'll speak for myself. In my case, it certainly did. I had to back all the way up and just really have that come to Jesus talk with myself. Look, this is so far beyond you that all you can really do is back up. Back up. You don't have to be nasty about it, but just understand that energy of misery has likely, if it's a really deep state, it's likely been sitting on this person for a very, very long time. I'll give you something else. And a lot of people would not acknowledge this or put this on the table, but what I've witnessed from some miserable people, it's almost the more joyful you are, the more happy you are, the more enthusiastic you are. It almost seems to irritate or perturb them depending on how deeply rooted that misery is. So they're seeing that joy, that light, they see that, and that becomes an irritation. Why? Because ultimately that is what they want. Who wouldn't want it? But they are too lazy to harness the tools to get it. So if you're in that spot, this is why a lot of miserable souls, they end up abusing people that are in their life. Let's say lighter spirits, lighter souls or energy, because they see it and there's a certain level of resentment for what feels out of reach for them. It's not out of reach if they would do the work. So this is why people have come to me over the years. I don't understand, Sheila. All I've done, I've been kind, I've been warm, I've been loving. Why is that not enough? It's not enough because you cannot fill a black void. It is a void, my friends, and it is the size of the Grand Canyon. Truly, it is the size of a Grand Canyon. You can't fill that up. They have to recognize that, hopefully join with the hand of God to get some support and start to really work that void and heal. That is not work that you can do. Trust me. I'll toot my own horn for a minute. I'm pretty damn good at what I do. And, you can be the most skilled person. That's deeply individual work. It's spiritual work. Number 3, they do not drain energy. This is back to the void, because they are powerful. It's not like a magic wand here. They drain energy because they're empty. Understand, you are if you have one of these people in your life, it's like standing in front of a vacuum. It's like a suction. Like, damn, why am I so tired? Why am I, I'm feeling weak. I'm feeling depleted. They are literally pulling on your energetic field, your life force, not because they want to, and many times they're not even conscious of it, but it is because they are so empty. It's like a dark vacuum sucking the energy out of you, oftentimes unwittingly, unknowingly. But no matter how much energy is transferred from you, it will not fill that void. There is an emptiness. There is and if interestingly enough, I've had one miserable person that I was working with in my practice that was honest enough, and they did get better. They were honest enough to tell me it doesn't matter. I feel, I can buy new furniture. I can be around the best person. It's empty. It's empty. It does nothing for me. It doesn't fill me up. So until that recognition was laid bare, there they were trying to fill that Grand Canyon with little pebbles. So I want you to understand, it's not a power behind this. What it is a giant vacuum of emptiness. Understand that, know that, the drama, the outburst, the criticisms, is overly dramatic. They're trying to get sensation and fill the void. I remember I was dealing with one of these people, and so, it was something small that happened. You could, honestly, a different person would have kind of laughed it off, blown it off. It was cussing. It was, oh my God, you hurt me. You did me wrong. You disrespected me. Just on the drama of it all and pointing fingers. The punishment does not fit the crime. What is this? And then when you back up and you see it clearly, oh, this is them projecting. This is a defense mechanism. I want to point at you and point at you and point at you and point at you and criticize you. So the spotlight is not on me. Because if the spotlight falls on me, it will be laid bare that I am miserable and have some issues that I have not dealt with. It's a game. It is a game, and it is upon you to pull that curtain and see what's coming on behind the curtain, because this kind of the brand of misery that I'm talking about, that is all encompassing, you will get sucked into that vortex, and beautiful things in your life you will miss. You will be so distracted, wondering why, what's going on? What did I do? Can I do better? So you end up in what I've referred to as the matrix in other videos. We don't have time to get into the matrix. And if you do slip in there, when you know better, do better, get yourself the hell out. And hopefully if you listen to this video and you're caught in the matrix, you will get out. There's someone, I'm going to talk directly to you. I don't know who you are, where you are. You stumbled on the video, or you've been a long time subscriber, but the message is for you. This is a game. You're wrapped up in the matrix, the house of mirrors. You need to get out. You know deep down inside who you are. You're a decent person. You've done everything you can. You've hit a wall of misery, and it is a brick wall, and you're not going to penetrate that yourself. It's got to come from the individual. Number four, you do not have to join that emotional weather storm. You don't have to. You do not have to see a storm cloud out in the distance and feel like, oh my goodness, I need to run to this. That storm cloud can be right next to you, and you don't need to run in there. You can throw an umbrella in the form of compassion. Here's an umbrella, stay a little bit dry while you're working on it. But damn it, if I'm going to get into the lightning and the rain, I'm not going to stand there with you. So I'm not suggesting be cold. You can have compassion, maybe you stay in touch, whatever the case may be, but that is not yours to deal with. And it's very difficult. I'll speak for myself, being a compassionate person. I didn't say a perfect person. Please don't misunderstand me. I'm working on myself for the rest of my life. I've done a lot of work here. But the empathy and compassion is there. So the heart pulls on the heartstrings. Okay, just make sure the heartstrings don't pull you into the tornado. It is important to have that boundary and stand set apart, because it will literally destroy every area of your life. And by the way, you know that this channel, I give you the clinical, the practical, the spiritual. I would be remiss if I didn't say and remind everyone the power of prayer works. I was dealing with a miserable person. My angels and the Lord told me, and I heard it clearly, Sheila, put an arc of light around this individual and leave it alone. And that's exactly what I did. I imagined just the ark was symbolic of an ongoing prayer, arc of light. When I thought about the individual, bless the light, bless the ark, and I needed to move forward because the drain was so substantial. Energetic drain, spiritual drain, emotional drain. So there are tools that you can use: setting boundaries, prayer, journal, write it down. Get the clear picture in front of you, because once you see that clear picture, if you can't see it clearly, you can't maneuver and do anything about it. So my hope from my heart is that this message made a difference for you. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, comment. Let me know, how do you feel about these miserable people? What is your advice for Jordan? And I'll be back real